and then at the back it would have a rectangle shape. So we call it action waits for an event to occur. Action waits for an event to occur. So we can say that it is accepting an event. Now let's see the next one. Next one would be like this, which means at a particular time an action has started in the activity diagram. Okay, at a particular point in time. This symbol defines a particular point in time, accepting a time event action. So we can say that it can be defined as accepting a time event. Means at that particular time some action has to be performed. So we can say that at a definite point in time, the action starts a flow in the activity diagram. Okay, so this hourglass symbol can be used to show for accepting an time event which gets started or which get ended when the action has been performed. Okay, for example, if we are talking about some activity diagram, okay, so for example, at the month end of month, the interest would be credited in your account. So this R symbol can be used to show the end of month occurred. Okay, that particular point in time action. Okay, now if an activity is sending signals to other activities for accepting, signal is being sent to an activities to accept it. Okay, signal. So that is being drawn like this with arrow like structure. Okay, this is called as sending signal. Okay, okay, I did not show you about the data flow. So let's see the how object flow or the data flow or the message pass on is being represented. This is a result represented with a line with arrowhead which shows the message flow. Okay, message flow from one activity to another activity. Now let's see the next symbol. We have already seen a symbol of diamond for decision. Now, this decision can have certain conditions. Okay, so I'll just add here this decision symbol would have some conditions, maybe if this condition is applied or conditions is applied, then what next should happen. Okay, so this can be like this, and we write the conditions on this data flow lines like this in the square bracket. Like this we can write the condition, and if there is something we can write else, whether it is satisfied or not, some condition like this. Now this is about the decision when several activities are being performed and we need to merge them and obtain a single output. Okay, so that time we draw the merge node. Merge node is same like the decision. Okay, but in this the difference would be from three direction we would have input, and from one direction we'll get an output. So this is merge node. Merge node. Okay, so this would have several inputs and only one output. Now the next one is fork. Let's see what is fork. Fork is a solid rectangle. Okay, so like this. Now solid rectangle with a single input of message flow and which gets branched. Okay, so in the fork we can say that it receives a single input and it branches and gives the data flow to different activities. Okay, so we mainly use it for branching the flow into two or more parallel flows. Okay, so we can say that we use it for the branching of flows. Two or more format. So a fork would always have one input and two or more outputs. The next would be, just give me a minute. Okay, so we'll continue. I had some work to, so I just left for that. Okay, so the next symbol would be the solid circle, and we know that the solid circle usually shows the starting. So here we would be calling it the starting point of the activity, or it is also called as the initial node. So it is being called as starting point of activity. Okay, that means we call it as an initial node also. Now the next should be that should indicates the completion of the activity diagram, okay, or we can say the final node. So that is the circle, solid circle with outline. So this is shows the completion of the activity. So it indicates that an activity is completed. Is completed. Okay. So we can say that it is an final node, as the above one was the initial node. So it can be called as the final node. Okay, but when there are parallelly something flowing, okay, because we can have single final node, okay. So if two activities are were initiated, okay, and it was terminated after its performance, and but the rest of the activities were going on, okay. So in a diagram, if a single activity was performed and it got executed or it ended, so for that we use a symbol like this one, a circle with cross like this one, okay. So this shows final flows can be terminated individually and selectively. When an activity is selected and it has been terminated, so that is parallel flows can be terminated individually or they can be selected. Okay, individually and selectively. Now, next is activity partition. Okay, so activity partition would be a rectangle which have a partition like this in the center, and on the top the name of the partitions for which they have been divided into two blocks and what all activities are being performed, okay, that is being written here. So it is partition and this is partition. So this is called as activity partition, okay, activity partition. Elements of an activity diagram can be divided into individual areas or partitions. Now the next symbol would be join. Okay, so in this we'll have a solid rectangle or horizontal rectangle. Now in this we'll have multiple inputs and a single output. Okay, so this is called as join. When activities combine to have single activities, then we use this symbol. When activities combine to have single activity. Okay, so these are the various symbols which are being used in activity diagram and which would help us to understand how different actions or activities are being performed and how they are connected with each other and how the message flow is being taking place among them. Okay, so these are the few symbols, okay, which help us to define or draw the activity diagram successfully. We usually use this symbol to draw the individual activities or the actions, okay, and this diamond for decision taking the decision. If you have some objects or the classes, we use this rectangle. Then if we are calling an active within another activity, this symbol is used in that activity box, and we say that an activity is being called within another activity. Okay, if we are waiting for an event to be accepted, okay, so action waits for an event to occur. So at that particular situation, this symbol is being used. Our symbol is used, our clock symbol is used to define a point in a time. This is for sending message flow or transition data flow, we can call it as. We can call it as also as an control flow or edge flow also. So many names can be given to it. I'll just write so that you will be familiar with this. So for this, we can say this as a message flow, or we can call it as control flow also. Okay, which represents how the activities are being happening or how they occur in that particular diagram and what is the reason for occurrence and how they proceed further. Okay, this is the merge node where several inputs and only one output is there. Merge, everything is coming and merged in this. Fork, a horizontal solid rectangle with single input and multiple outputs. Initial node, final node, and the partial, or we have this node is used when we want to individually or selectively terminate an activity. This is the activity partition. Inside this, we'll be drawing activities and we'll be having a relation or links between them. This is join when activities combine to have a single activities. Okay, so these are the few symbols which helps us to draw activity diagram correctly. Now in the next class, we'll draw few activity diagrams and we'll see how we can successfully draw them. Okay, so I'll just download the attendance, and after downloading the attendance, you can leave the class.
Ma'am, can you also share these notes?
Yeah, I'll sure. Within give me a day time. Okay, maybe by today evening or tomorrow, I'll upload all the notes which I could not upload till now. Okay, after, yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
welcome. Okay, so I have downloaded the attendance. You can leave the class. Thank you for being in the class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
The next is from 2:45.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just give the
Thank you, ma'am.
questions. You people can note down the questions. No need to stay in the lab for 2 hours. You can note down the questions. You can draw them at your end. If it is done, uh, whenever I'll share the link, you just upload them. Okay, so I'll give the questions. You just join and take the questions, and then you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.